Hey Hip Chicks, Beth Allen here, and welcome to my childhood home. As many of you know, I've spent the last 9 months of my life renovating my parents' house to put it up for sale. Back in April, my mother passed away, and my brother, sister, and I, and my sister-in-law had the arduous task of emptying a home with 59 years of marriage and all of its memories, and renovating the house to resell. Back in May, we had a flipper come into the house and offered us a price of $100,000 as is. He would even take care of emptying some of the contents. Well, we sat down and decided, based on the value of the neighborhood and the potential renovation sweat equity that we could put into this house, we decided to pass on that offer. Right now, the house is listed on the market for $275,000. He was going to put $100,000 of renovation into it, and we thought, why can't we put our own sweat equity into it and make some more modest renovations that the house will still be attractive to buyers, but it doesn't have to be an over-the-top renovation. So I'm very pleased to say that it's been on the market for 6 days and we've had 20 showings, and we're not done yet. So we're waiting for an offer to come in. We have some very interested buyers. So I want to share with you some of the projects and the tricks and the hacks that I brought to this renovation so that you can apply them to your own. At some point, almost all of us will have to deal with the challenge of emptying our parents' home and deciding what to do with their possessions. It can be a very challenging moment emotionally as well as time management. How do you find the time to deal with 60, 70 years sometimes of a family's belongings and manage your own life as well? Well, what do you do with all the possessions? What do you do with the usable items that you hate to just throw in a dumpster? And what do you do with the sentimental things? So I want to walk you through some of the things that we did that we found were very effective, that we could repurpose, reuse, resell, gain some equity, and how we dealt with the emotional pieces as well. The number one priority after our mom passed was to figure out where are all the important stuff. Where are the documents that we need to process the death, the property management, the checkbook, the bills, invoices, all of those things. So what we did was we got a big old box and we marked it important. And we found everything around the house and we put it in that box so we knew that was the box that no one could throw out. It's about bringing a little bit of organization and cooperation to a big task. Then we started figuring out what could we get rid of. And if your parents were anything like mine, they saved a lot of stuff, too much stuff. My mom and dad had saved paid telephone bills from 1989. So we had to sift through a lot of paperwork to make sure we didn't throw out anything important. So keep in mind, folks, generally it's important to save things for 7 years, and you don't need to save it for longer than that, aside from, of course, the deed, wills, and very important documents. But we found we needed a shredding event. So after we had sorted out the important stuff from the not so important stuff, we did find a shredding event. So you're going to want to look on Facebook. You're going to want to call the township you live in. You may even want to call area townships to find out when they're having shredding events so that you can have those not so important documents shredded, but the ones that have personal information, namely bank account information. So make sure that you get those documents shredded. All the other stuff, if it's been closed bank accounts and it's from 30 years ago, those things can just be thrown out. But you want to safeguard any Social Security numbers, bank accounts, and other personal information that could be misused. Next, we had to tackle the personal items, and that was hard. It's very hard to go through your parents' clothing and personal effects and decide what to do with them. My mom had been alone for 19 years since my father had died, so there were not a lot of my father's things around, but we did find 5 boxes of his clothing up in the attic. So there were some things that were usable that we donated. And for my mom's items, most of her clothes we did donate because they were in good shape. And then we sat down for the task of, what about the jewelry? What about the cards, the mementos, the personal little items that are scattered around the house? And we divided those up among the 3 of us and made sure that the things that were sentimental found a home. Some things meant more to my brother than me, or to me, not my sister, and we're very blessed that none of us had any issue with how we divided up everything, and everything of importance found a home. The next big challenge was what to do with all of the house stuff. And I'm talking the furniture, the accessories, the decor, the kitchenware, the organizational products. My mom was a bit of a pack rat, and like many of you, your parents may have grown up in times where they did not have a lot of money, so they held on to things because you never know when you're going to need it. And we had that situation at hand. So we filled many, many trash cans of things that were of no longer use to anyone. But then we had one big ass yard sale. We had a big yard sale and moved a lot of stuff that day. We made about $800 at the yard sale, moving furniture and kitchen stuff, and then whatever had made it out to the lawn for the yard sale went to the thrift store for donation. It did not come back in except for a few key items that were of value. So you have to plan ahead. Do you want a yard sale to get rid of things? Are you going to hire one of the junk pickup companies to come and take the things away? So you have to decide how much time and effort you want to put in. It was a all hands on deck yard sale with my kids, my niece, and everybody working to get all of the goods out of the house. So decide how you want to handle what you can donate, what you can sell, and what others in the family may want to keep. And don't discount the power of social media for selling or giving away unused items or unwanted items. We posted stuff on Facebook and Craigslist and made several $100s more on items that did not move at the yard sale. So keep that in mind as a very powerful tool. If you are going to use Facebook or Craigslist and invite people to the home, please never be alone. Make sure others know that you are meeting someone at the house, and make sure that you ask for cash only and that they pick it up. If you have any concerns, make sure you find a safe, comfortable meeting place, even at a gas station or perhaps even a police station, to make an exchange of goods. The hardest part of clearing out the things from our parents' house was definitely going through the sentimental things. The photo albums, the mementos. We found my baby blanket. We found my sister's communion doll. We found my brother's christening outfit. These are the things that take you back, the things that you look at and you realize that these were the core center of family traditions and rituals and experiences and memories. So those things are hard to part with. There were some things that we took photos of because they were not in good condition and we weren't going to hold on to them, but we took a photo before we discarded. And that's one way that you can hold on to the memory without holding on to the item. Another thing that I did was we found some flannel shirts of my dad's. He loved flannel shirts. It's what he wore all the time. We also found far up in the corner of the attic my mother's wedding dress. She had held on to it for 59 years and had moved it from 7 homes to this one. So there was meaning behind it. It was of value to her. And how could I preserve it and the memories that it held? So unbeknownst to my brother and sister, I took the flannel from my dad and the lace from my mom, and I created Christmas ornaments for our family so that they would have a little memento of how our family was rooted in love, despite some of the challenges we've had over the years. it was still rooted in love, and that the love of a family was woven through the fabric. So you can find ways to do sentimental things like that. There are companies out there that will actually take some of your old clothing and create blankets, pillows, holiday ornaments, teddy bears. So find one in your area that will take those memories and create a new memory out of a new, by creating a new item for you to cherish. And what do you do with all the photos? Our generation doesn't have a lot of photos. We have to look to our phones. We have to look to Instagram and Facebook to see our holiday adventures and our trips. But when we were all kids, we had Polaroids, we had some black and whites, and we had gobs of Kodak pictures printed in the 80s. So what do you do with all of that? Well, you can scan them. You can save the albums as they are. You can photocopy pictures so you can divide among you. So decide for yourselves which of those photos are sentimental, really capture the family moments. You're not going to save all of them. You're not going to scan and print all of them, because Lord knows we have a lot of bad photos because we had to go through that roll of 24 pictures and print them all. But which ones are meaningful? Can you make a collage for your family so you have a memory? Do you want to make a scrapbook? So take time to think about what to do with all of the photos and the memories. But keep in mind, you don't need to do that right away. That's the kind of thing that you can come back to after you've dealt with the property, after you've dealt with the taxes and the legal stuff, and after you've dealt with some of your grief. And it's a way for you to kind of recircle and come back and deal with that part when you're more ready. So I hope that these little tips and tricks I shared with you will help you move a little more quickly and easily through the task of clearing out your parents' estate. It is a challenging one, and unfortunately it is something that we all have to face. But keep in mind there are resources, there are opportunities and services that can help you get the job done. And I hope you'll stay tuned for more tips and tricks as I continue to tackle my little series called Flip Mama's House. And I'm going to show you the renovation projects that we did so we could get Mom's house on the market.